Welcome to Penalty Box Radio, presented by Goldstone Financial Group. Goldstone Financial Group is an experienced team of professionals who will help ensure you receive distinguished service with a plan tailored to your retirement goals. I'm your host, Sean Smith, my co-host, also of Penalty Box Radio, Ann Kimmel. And it says, make nice with Ann. That's how we start the show.
I appreciate that you schedule it in. I don't think enough people in my life schedule in make nice with Ann time.
I think being kind and polite is important.
It doesn't hurt.
It doesn't hurt anything.
Does not
So
hurt.
how have things been going?
Good, really good.
That's an unscripted question.
That is. It
Just
feels
wanna
like a loaded question too. I'm like, how existential are we going here?
So that's not that kind of radio show.
No,
Ann.
it sure is not.
It's not that. It's not the philosophy hour.
Although, let's just talk about the fact that right before we came on the air, you had an epiphany brought to you by me.
Are we gonna bring this?
Brought to you by me. Yes.
Oh boy.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I'll just say by we I mean me, Sean, has reached the age where I can't tell if it's better for me to have my glasses on or off with my computer at this distance from my face. And so Ann has shown me how to what would you call that? Increase the font, not the font size. Like I'm an old pro at font size, but this is a Google Doc. If I increase the font size on my end, it increases the font size on your producer. Jake's in there. He's like,
he can see regular
he's 19
font.
years old. He's like, what is this? This is not for everyone, sir and ma'am. So she showed me how to I guess zoom in, as you'd say. And
it's
now,
a whole new world
this
now,
is,
isn't it?
Look, I will admit that my eyes have literally been opened by this. And I can see just fine at 150% and with my glasses on.
You were at 150.
Well,
I'm not judging that, but I'm at 125.
Well, these don't work for close up. They work for far away. And now we've got lots of problems. So
we do.
Look, enough glasses chat with Sean and Ann. If there's any optometrists or ophthalmologists out there that want to sponsor the show, let us know. We could go on, but we got to start with our puck drop topic, which is how we start every show after we make nice. And this, I'm going to ask you this week. Okay. We've been going the opposite way for a while now, but I want to throw it back your way. Was last night's game, and let me just, we're talking about the Predators game last night.
Correct.
In which the Predators were down by 2 goals with minutes to go in the game, came back to tie it up at 6-6 and ended up winning in overtime. Was last night's game a glimpse of the future? And I don't mean the thrilling come from behind overtime victory. Those are fun, but that's not what you want every night.
Oh gosh, no.
So was last night's game a glimpse of the future?
I think last night's game was a glimpse of potential for the future. I think this is not exactly how you would script a winning season. It is not giving up 6 goals. So there are definitely some aspects of this game that you don't want to repeat. But I do think there are aspects of it that show the potential of this team, because what you had in last night's game was you had veterans leading the way.
Yep.
Shout out to Steven Stamkos.
Absolutely.
2 goals, not 1. 2 goals. Philip Forsberg, you had the veterans kind of leading the way. Jonathan Marchessault, 3 assists, but you also saw contributions again, like from somebody like Fedor Svechkov, overtime game winning goal, but also what we saw on the ice last night and what we have seen on the ice of late from this team. It's very hard to say this is a glimpse of the future, because just roster construction alone, this team is going to look different next year. I mean, just bringing back the injured players, bringing back the Yossis and the Lauzons, and sorting through the defensemen that you have right now on the roster and who's going to stay in what position and where are they going to play. And then, are these young players, are the Svechkovs, are the Zach Laroux's, what is their ice time potentially going to look like next year? Who are they competing with next year in training camp?
Yeah.
So I think it's a picture of the potential. You want a game where your veterans lead the way and your young players step into big moments.
But
you
know what I didn't see a lot of that I need to see?
What's that?
Because if it's a glimpse of the future and you saw a lot of things you liked, and I did too. Everything you said, I agree with.
Right.
The veterans, the youth, gritty goals. I like gritty
Loved
goals.
Michael McCarron's goal.
But I didn't see a lot of defense.
No. No, that it was tough. I would agree with that. And even some of the players that I feel like are players who are going to be battling for roster spots as the Predators kind of sift through defensemen, maybe not their best game to showcase what they can do. I would agree with you defensively. But again, this is not an actual look at the Nashville Predators defense.
And that's what's hard. And that's been the story of the season, in my opinion, is if you want to look at, what's gone wrong with the season, you could really just say, look at the defense. And I don't mean like it's a bunch of bad players. I mean that this is definitely not who they started with on the roster.
Oh my goodness.
Most of your key defenders are injured or have been traded. And so now you have guys that are filling those spots, either having been called up from the AHL, being brought onto the team via, a lot of different methods, trades, of course, with Barron. And then of course you had some waiver claims as well. And that's not to say they're bad players. They're not doing a good job, but this is not the defense that the Predators planned on having.
No, this is not what it was going to look like. Your most tenured defenseman in the Andrew Brunette system is Brady Shea, ladies and gentlemen.
And let's
on the ice.
This is his first
season with the team.
And he has the most experience under Andrew Brunette.
Yes.
Which is that's saying something.
It is saying something. It is. Now, I will say this. It has not helped all season long that the defense and the goaltenders have not gotten a lot of goal support offensively either.
That doesn't help.
It doesn't help. It was great. It was great last night. I mean, you can give up 6 goals if you're planning on scoring 7 every game.
Right. If you score 7, you can let the other 6
win
go.
every time.
It doesn't matter.
But
well, I think too, you've got, I guess the best way to put it, you have to think too, this is a system that for a long time has kind of, the offense has been run through Roman Josi.
Absolutely.
And he's absent from the team. I mean, obviously, dealing with an upper body injury, but when the guy that you kind of model the offense around isn't there and is not available, you're kind of left going, well, wait, are we going to try to run it through Brady Shea? Are we going to try to run it through Nick Blankenberg? What are we going to do? That's not going to work, because as good as those guys are and as good as they've been, they're not Roman Josi.
No, they're not. And again, no criticism of them, but Roman Josi is kind of the cornerstone for so much of the offense that happens. Especially you look at something like the power play, when you sign a Steven Stamkos and hey, this is what we could potentially have on the power play.
Right.
You are counting on Roman Josi to be the guy who gets him the puck the way he wants it, for that one-timer from Stamkos's office. And he has not had Roman Josi doing that. Now, I will say this. Kudos to Nick Blankenberg. Kudos to Brady Shea for stepping in. Nick Blankenberg has stepped into a role that I'm not sure he imagined. And I give him a ton of credit for what he has done with the opportunity he's been given. But you want Roman Josi passing that puck to Steven Stamkos on the power play. You want Roman Josi kicking off the offense in the O-zone, even at 5-on-5. And so without him, everything looks different.
Everything changes. And it has, in that you're seeing the results of that, I think. And also you've got some impact players in the defense who haven't been around for much of the season. Jeremy Lauzon, for example.
I remember him vaguely.
A very, heavy presence on the ice.
Yes.
Hard hitter, hard player, solid penalty killer, has just not been available. He's been injured. He's out for the season. It is what it is. But that things have changed. And I think too, Luke Schenn.
I miss Luke Schenn.
And I think as much as people have misaligned Luke Schenn and said terrible things about him, I don't think people understand how valuable he was to this hockey team.
Especially when you don't have a Jeremy Lauzon, because when you lose Jeremy Lauzon and Luke Schenn is no longer part of the team, you are missing a huge aspect of physicality.
Yeah. And
huge.
It's kind of been left up to Michael McCarron to take care of.
Yeah.
And
there was a sign on the glass. I just want to shout out whoever made this sign along the glass. My favorite sign I've seen at a hockey game live.
Okay.
It said, Ovi may break the record, but McCarron will break your face.
I don't think enough people say that they're going to break people's faces these days.
It's underused.
Break your face.
Underutilized.
I like that one. That's a good one. So looking at the upcoming off season, right? Which it's coming soon, Ann.
Oh yes.
Barry Trotz was on Stillman's show yesterday, and he discussed and I don't want to get too specific, but he discussed in the offseason maybe some hockey trades and maybe some trades using picks. The Preds are in a position now where they're going to have a very high or low or what? How would you say that? One of the first few
One of
draft
the first
picks.
few draft
They're kind of
picks,
locked
yes.
into one of the first few
Yeah.
draft picks. Is that going to fix it?
It's going to help. I think everybody has to understand it is not going to fix it because we have been bedarded and celebrinied into a false sense of what it means to get a high draft pick.
Yeah, that's true.
And I think Predators fans need to understand there are some really exciting prospects. If the Preds get a top 3 pick, they're going to come back with somebody pretty spectacular. But this pretty spectacular is still going to be an 18-year-old
Right.
who may not be NHL ready quite yet.
There are players that have been drafted recently that are just ahead of the curve, and they can come in at
Yes.
18 and they can play,
Mhm.
make significant contributions to their teams at 18. But that doesn't happen in every draft.
It's the exception. It's not
You
the
know,
rule.
Lafreniere took a while
Yep. Yeah.
to kind of come into his own, and I think that's what you forget sometimes, that as much as you see the Bedard and the flashy, shiny thing, that
Mhm.
doesn't necessarily mean they're coming in and making a significant contribution. And speaking, of the future, and I think planning for your future doesn't have to be complicated. At Goldstone Financial Group, they help you create a personalized financial plan to secure your retirement. Whether you're thinking about your 401k, IRA, or just want to invest smart, they've got you covered. Just like the Nashville Predators strategize for every game, Goldstone Financial strategizes for your financial success. Visit goldstonefinancialgroup.com today and start planning for tomorrow. And if you're looking for a great place to catch a Preds game, I'd send you to Beyond the Edge in East Nashville. But you don't just have to take my word for it. Beyond the Edge has been voted the best sports bar for the second year in a row in the Scene Nashville Readers Poll. With more than 30 TVs and 25 beers on tap, you'll never miss any of the action. They've got great food, great drinks, and the perfect spot to watch the game. Visit them at 112 South 11th Street in East Nashville or online at beyondtheedge.net. Make Beyond the Edge your go-to for every big game. Welcome back to Penalty Box Radio. If you're looking for your next night out, Stars and Strikes in Smyrna has something for everyone. Whether you're into bowling, laser tag, axe throwing, or their newly expanded arcade, the fun never stops. Plus, their full menu and bar make it the perfect spot for group events and birthday parties. Oh, and it's also a great place to catch the Predators game while you're there. Check them out at starsandstrikes.com. Green Ventures Landscaping transforms your outdoor dream into reality. Their family-owned team specializes in patio design, pool decks, retaining walls, and more. They create stunning landscapes that last with personalized service and expert craftsmanship. From irrigation to maintenance, they'll ensure your garden thrives, providing a space that's both functional and beautiful. Visit them at greenventureslandscaping.com today for a free quote. Let Green Ventures Landscaping cultivate your perfect outdoor sanctuary today. We are back.
We
We
are.
are back. I'm very excited. I failed to mention this at the head of the show. I did put it out there all over the social media, though. We've got a very exciting guest that's joining us right now. We are joined by Dante Abercrombie. He is the head coach of the brand new Tennessee State University Division I hockey team. Dante, how you doing?
That's right. Go Big Blue. I'm doing well.
That's good. That's exactly what we want to hear. You're excited. I'm excited. Ann's excited over here on the other side of the studio. We're very happy to have you with us. And look, I just want to get right into it. There's a lot to unpack about the hockey team, right? It's exciting. We want to talk about that. But before we get to that, I think it's important, you're the one that's been chosen to lead this team from its infancy, which I don't think that's an opportunity that many coaches get to do is starting a new team. And I think it would be good for people to know more about you. So what is your hockey history that has led you to this point?
Well, it all started, it sounds like a fairy tale because it actually is. My life feels like a fairy tale on a daily basis. Many years ago in Washington, D.C., being born into a situation that many, were born into. Unfortunately, in the late 80s, early 90s, my dad was locked up. My mom had me when she had just finished high school, so a teenager, but she didn't want that same future for me that, found my dad and many of my other siblings. So she decided to go, I guess you say, against the grain and sign me up for programs that were traditional or non-traditional for us. Gymnastics, violin, swimming, and learn to skate was just another one. And anybody that's ever been on the ice before, the moment you step on the ice and that freedom and that speed, and for some people, the smell of the rink was just so luring to me. And after one of my sessions on these Saturday mornings, I pointed to a hockey game that had just finished and said, "Mom, I want to try that." And she walked me over and signed me up for a program that actually happened to be the oldest program of its kind in the world. And the person that founded that program is actually in the USA Hockey Hall of Fame as a builder. And I got a chance to experience the game and fall in love with the game in a non-traditional market. Washington, D.C. is not a traditional hockey market, very similar to Nashville, but it's one of those places. And again, it's just one of those sports. When you get an opportunity to try it, you're hooked for life.
So how old were you when that happened?
I was 5 years old when that happened. 5 years old when the skates took a hold of me, and they haven't let go ever since.
I love that.
I would recommend that, you take them off occasionally just to let
Well, it depends on where you are in the new skate process. Some
That's
of us
true.
have slept in our skates.
That's true. That you do have to sleep in them occasionally.
Break them in.
So from there, you start in this program. You're learning hockey. Of course, the question that my 10-year-old would want me to ask, because he's excited. How far did you go as a player?
Well, the farthest I went was, I guess you could say, a signature away from signing a player tryout agreement with the South Carolina Stingrays, the minor league program for the Washington Capitals. It was around the lockout time where I got a chance to actually skate with the Capitals. And I was trying to break into the minor pro ranks. And I had a coach, former coach, Pat Bingham, said, "Dante, we love everything that you bring to the ice, but you haven't played, since high school. So you have to go play somewhere just to show that you can play. And then it doesn't matter what type of points you put up, just make it through a season." So I went to New Zealand and played, 19 and a half hours. I can't remember how far that flight was from California, but it was, It was a long flight a ways away. And then I came back thinking I was going to have a spot, and then the lockout happened.
Oh,
Fast
man.
forward a few years, having skated with the Caps provided me an opportunity down the line to be on the radar for the Capitals in their minor program. And when I tell you it was within a signature, it was going to Alaska for training camp with the South Carolina Stingrays, or my wife and I had just got pregnant with our first child, Patrick. It was being a dad that I never had, or chasing a dream of playing professional hockey at a level that I hadn't achieved to that point. And it was, some people would say it was a tough decision. It was a very easy one for me to make. And I'm glad I did, because you fast forward, 7, soon to be 8 years. And here I am having coached National Hockey League, NCAA D3, and now starting a brand new program here in Nashville, NCAA Division I.
That's incredible. And I'll go ahead and say, I think where a lot of people might see that as a tough choice, I think you're right. I think that's an easy choice when it comes to, should I chase this dream of playing professional hockey at a meaningful, competitive level, or do I say, you know what, I get to be a dad and I get to focus on that. That is to me, easy choice. I'm right there with you.
Absolutely.
So you're at this point now, you've been selected to coach TSU's hockey team. And this is, first off, I'm going to say, I think obviously it's a big deal for a variety of reasons, right? It's number one, TSU's program is going to be the first Division I hockey program for an HBCU. This is known, but I think it's also a big deal for a lot of other reasons. What are some of the implications of having a Division I hockey team, not just in Nashville, but in the South in general?
Well, I think this is what happens when the National Hockey League is intentional about growth. And it started with, obviously, the Gretzky effect in California, and then obviously the other teams that have come in Florida and Carolinas and Arizona, and then obviously Nashville being one of those markets. Now that these teams are here, now that these teams have had success, you now have generations of people that are used to going to games that now want to experience at the youth level. And what typically happens, you have youth hockey, and then you have AAA hockey, and then you have junior hockey, and eventually a college program comes into the area, and that's where we currently are. Hockey is growing at an amazing rate. I think it's going up 25%, the salary cap, over the next 3 seasons, which shows the dollars are definitely in hockey, and they're pointing
Right.
that everybody is interested in it. So it just makes all the sense in the world. And then, of course, you have Broadway, you have Bridgestone Arena, you have the Nashville Predators, you have about as electric of a fan base as you could possibly ask for. It just makes all the sense in the world to be able to add more hockey to Nashville.
Oh, I agree 100%. I think the big thing, you talk about the growth, and I think my wife and I moved to Nashville in 2009, and I think all you had at the time was Bridgestone and Centennial, and then you see the addition of Fordyce, Antioch, Fordyce,
Yeah.
Bellevue.
Lot of growth.
Nolensville's added a rink recently. The rink in Clarksville has come up now too. You're starting to see that this is spreading, not just in Nashville, but you're getting to the outlying areas as well. You and I we've already had some discussions. We've been talking about this, and I think you mentioned this concept of, where do you go from? And, you mentioned playing when you were younger. My son, as he's been on the show numerous times, we've mentioned him a lot. He's 10 years old. He's currently playing, travel hockey. At some point, and we're not sitting here saying that, he's the next NHL superstar, but if he continues to play at a competitive level, at some point that kind of runs out. What would you typically have to do if you were going to continue playing hockey at a meaningful level once you hit 14, 15 years old?
Well, obviously there's a lot of different factors. That is a absolutely loaded question. That question's answer was different, let's call it 7 months ago, before the CHL was opened up to NCAA. But I think the most important thing for any athlete, dominate where you currently are. So if you're a 10U, dominate where you currently are. If you are playing 14U, 16U, dominate where you currently are. If you're at a situation where you get to that 14, 15, 16U AAA level and you are 2-3 points a game, then maybe, finding a U.S. national team or something like that is is good, but I think that great growth comes from great organizations doing a good job at being good at the top level. I was just at the Preds game last night, and a couple fans got up and left when it turned 6-4, and I was like, this game is far from over. We're on the power play. It's like 4 or 5 minutes left in the game. You got one of the best goal scorers of the past decade and a half currently on the ice.
Absolutely.
Like that level of compete and passion is something that keeps people interested in the game. And then now you get more shovels in the ground. That's hard to do, especially from a spot like mine. I don't come from money, but I'm pretty sure there are people that want to see hockey grow and are willing to put shovels in the ground to allow for the growth of the game. I'll speak to the Capitals situation. Everybody knows Washington, D.C. Land is a premium. It's hard
Yeah.
to buy land in Washington, D.C. But what you can do is put a stick in the ball in players' hands and allow them to experience the game that way. And they've put, a million kids in their school system in D.C. have been exposed to the game that way. So that could be another route for Nashville. But to your son, dominate where you currently are, continue to dominate. But also to that point, having tangible examples of what the next levels look like locally,
Absolutely.
I think also helps the grassroots. Because currently we have, I believe it's USPHL Premier represented in Nashville. You have the Nashville Junior Preds are doing a phenomenal job. There's other programs that are also in Nashville that do a really good job of developing talent. You obviously have the National Hockey League, but between Junior Preds and the National League, or the USPHL Premier and the National League, there is no bridge there. So there's nothing for athletes to look towards. So I think having us helps to bridge that gap, and now they can, dream beyond AAA or junior youth hockey.
I agree with you 100%. Coach, we're going to get into all about TSU's hockey team when we come back from this break. If you're willing to stick around with us, we'll get right back into it. Does that work for you?
Works for me.
All right. Well, before we go to that break, as Preds fans, we know the importance of playing both offense and defense. At Goldstone Financial Group, they apply that same mindset to your retirement. They're not just about growing your assets, but also protecting them. With decades of experience, they can help you build a strategy that secures your financial future. Head to goldstonefinancialgroup.com to learn more and get your game plan in place. Welcome back to Penalty Box Radio on 102.5 The Game. Stars and Strikes in Smyrna has everything you need for a fun-filled outing. Bowling, laser tag, axe throwing, and their huge new arcade. With a full menu and bar, it's also the perfect place to host birthday parties or group events. And if you're a Preds fan, you can catch the game while enjoying great food and drinks. Visit starsandstrikes.com and start planning your next adventure. Hey, Knoxville, if you're ready to take your hockey game to the next level, then Frostletics Hockey is for you. Frostletics is East Tennessee's up-and-coming youth ice hockey organization offering top-notch training, competitive play, and a family atmosphere. Whether you're a beginner looking to sharpen your skills, Frostletics has the perfect program for you. Frostletics' passionate coaches help young athletes build confidence, develop skills, and most importantly, have fun. Their spring and summer programming starts in April and runs through the end of July. Be sure to follow Frostletics Hockey on social media for skill drills, player spotlights, and programming updates. For more information on their programs, please visit frostletics.com or speak with one of their experienced coaches. Get an edge on the competition and stay frosty with Frostletics. All right, we're back. We still have with us, and very happy to have head coach of the brand new TSU hockey team, Coach Dante Abercrombie. Coach, welcome back.
Oh, thanks so much for having me again.
We're really happy you're sticking around. I mean, this is I don't think people realize how big of a deal this is for Nashville to have this coming. And you spent the last segment with us talking about what got you to TSU and kind of what that means, like the gap that's kind of being filled in Nashville by having a Division I program here. But now we do want to talk about that team. And I believe Ann had a question she wanted to ask you about putting the team together.
So recruiting is, of course, a big piece of that. So as you and your staff are recruiting players, what are the characteristics that you are looking for from these players? What do you want to be sort of the defining factors as you are creating a culture for TSU's hockey team?
I want individuals that there's zero quit in everything that they do.
Yep.
It's very, and it really doesn't matter what level. There's obviously a certain level of pace and hockey IQ that you must have to be able to play the system that I believe is going to be successful for us. But it really starts with that compete level, and they're just no quit attitude. I want players that need to be first to the puck, players that have to get up and support. Like those are the people that I want to have, because I think that's what's going to bring the most success. It's very easy to play this game if there's no pressure, but if there's somebody
Right.
always on you, and that's something I believe in, we're going to be the hardest team to skate against. And I'll explain that, quickly. It's very easy for you to just skate end to end with nobody in front of you. But if there's always somebody kind of in your way, forcing you to move a little bit to the right, move a little bit to the left, by the third period, you're just like, they're always in my way. They're always getting a piece of me. It is the most frustrating thing in the world. That's what I want. But when you talk about the no quit attitude on the ice, the reason I look for that is because building the type of program that we're going to have to build and the type of stuff we're going to have to go through to turn this into a truly premier program at the NCAA Division I level, I need individuals that want to fight through adversity, that want to never give up. And I feel as though the individuals that we have coming in thus far that have committed to us embody that through and through, on the ice, off the ice, in their families, community service work. They are, to an individual, phenomenal people.
That's great. Creating a program is such a challenge, and being intentional about who you are bringing in is such a key part of, you start as you mean to go on, whether that is on the ice, in the locker room, in the community. I love that piece.
And you've got this unique opportunity, not just to build a program, but to build a culture. And the guys that are in that locker room and on the ice wearing the TSU sweaters, I don't want to say jerseys and make some people upset, but wearing the TSU sweaters, those are the guys that get to set the tone, I think, for the direction the program heads. And I've got a question about this, because a few weeks ago, we had the captain of MTSU's hockey team on as they were getting ready to go play for a championship down in Florida. What are some of the differences between MTSU's hockey team and TSU's hockey team?
Well, the major difference is at the NCAA level, the school can offer scholarships. That's that's really the major differentiating factor between those levels. There's obviously, level of play at certain levels. NCAA Division I, you've played level of juniors that the NHL is recruiting from. There's players obviously that we have committed to us that are considered 4-star or 4.5-star, 3.5-star, whatever you want to call it, have been on NHL draft lists. Those are the type of players that we are going after. And, my brother is an individual that played club hockey, and I love club hockey. And he chose, instead of trying to fight for an NCAA spot, he rather go to an institution that offered a lot of other things that he was interested in, and decided to play club hockey at St. Joe's in Philly. So but again, the major difference is just the scholarship portion, which again, now you're playing against some bigger schools and better talent is
Sure.
what some people would say.
Well, I think, and what's funny is I think what you mentioned there is, your brother played and decided he wanted to go to a school. Not everybody plays hockey and that plays hockey well says this is going to be my career. I'm going to make a solid run for it. They say, I've played a lot of hockey. I enjoy playing it, but now maybe I'm going to go focus on some academic stuff when I can still play hockey competitively, just maybe not with a scholarship backing me up. Because I think that, there is that aspect of a scholarship to where now you've got a lot more pressure than if you were playing, say, for a club where you're not worried about your play impacting your scholarship or your ability to continue going to that school. So I think you're definitely right. That's the main difference, is that scholarship. So, I think, we look at, you and I were talking, Tennessee State location wise, what's the next closest? Like, I know we're in the South here, so where's the next closest Division I program?
So you have programs at Miami, Ohio State, University of Michigan, Lindenwood, Bowling Green, Robert Morris. So they're within 4 or 5 hours.
Okay.
Maybe let's call it 6 hours. Detroit, St. Louis. You have quite a few programs that are there.
Okay. Are those typically the schools that TSU will be playing against? Do you know what that's going to look like yet?
So I have called every single one of those schools. Some of those schools that I have mentioned are on our schedule.
Okay.
Everybody at the NCAA Division I level are teams that we can play. And I think that's the beauty of us deciding to go NCAA Division I, is that now we are not only open ourselves to a different level of athlete,
Right.
but we're also open ourselves up to a much different level of competition. One of the teams that we're talking about opening the season with has perennial number 1, number 2, top or first round draft picks coming out of their program. Like that's the type of talent that will be coming not only to play against TSU, but one day to walk the halls and the campus at Tennessee State.
That's incredible. Let me ask you this. What is between now and the time that the team actually gets to take the ice for the first time, what are some of the challenges? What are some of the roadblocks that you're facing in getting that to happen?
Well, the biggest issue right now is financial.
Okay.
Obviously. Just given the way the world is right now, especially here in America, a lot of institutions are having to restructure their finances, and we're doing something similar at Tennessee State. That is not my seat. That is not my pay grade. But what I have been told is that for us to have this program drop the puck in October 4th, actually the date, we have to raise our budget. So we are looking at not just 1 year. We want to raise 2 years worth, which we estimate to be $5 million. And we are sitting, and for our first year, $2 million. And we're sitting a quarter of the way there already. And we have a lot of other individuals that are looking to support on a pretty large scale. But I feel as though this is a team of the community. And I say this to people all the time. National Hockey League is one thing, and I've worked in the National Hockey League. I worked with the Toronto Maple Leafs. I know what it's like to be that person and to have all the eyes on you as a player or somebody in that organization. But the best thing about college sports is these individuals are walking through the grocery stores and and just the restaurant
Yeah.
locally. They are truly pumping gas next to you. Like you may come watch us play, and then an hour and a half later, you're standing right next to this individual again in a restaurant. That's the beauty of TSU hockey. We are truly a part of the community, and our athletes want to be a part of the community. And I feel as though this is to get this started, we need the community to help support. And I don't think that 2 million for the first year or 5 million for the first 2 years is a large lift as long as everybody is involved.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, if you get some community support, then that goes a long way. If you find some big fish to donate some big portions of that, it all goes quicker. What can people do? Like, if they want to contribute, if they want to donate, if they want to help bring TSU's hockey team to the ice, how can they do that?
Well, the best way to support is all one word, texting TSU hockey. So TSU HOCKEY to 41444. Again,
Okay.
that's TSU hockey, all one word, to 41444. And outside of that, it's just awareness, letting people know that this isn't a dream. This isn't something that is still years down the line. The date is set, October 4th. The opponent has been set, and it's already been announced on TV. Boston University is the
Whoa.
first
Okay.
opponent.
Wow.
So this is not, a pipe dream, as some people would say.
Right.
This is real. This is for the community. And because Nashville has done a great job at the grassroots level all the way up to the National Hockey League, we are now in a position where Division I college hockey is coming. Boston University wants to come and be a part of this, and they are just one of the names of powerhouses in NCAA that want to be a part of not just our first season, but down the line as well.
Right. Well, coach, I'll tell you what, we've got to get some community support. We've got to rally everybody. We've got to get everybody in this community involved. You heard it from Coach Dante Abercrombie. If you want to donate to Tennessee State University's hockey team, you're going to text TSU hockey, all one word, to 41444, and helping them get ready for puck drop on October 4th this year, 2025, against Boston University. Coach, thank you so much for joining us. We could go on, but the show unfortunately is only an hour long. But we could keep you around forever because you're awesome to talk to. I can't wait. I'll be there. My family will be there. I'm sure Ann will be there with her family as well.
Absolutely.
We can't wait to support you guys, and thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, thanks so much for having me, and this definitely won't be the last time.
Absolutely not. And we'll be very happy to have you back on. Before we go to our break, I do want to say, as Preds fans, we know the importance of playing both offense and defense. At Goldstone Financial Group, they apply that same mindset to your retirement. They're not just about growing your assets, but also protecting them. With decades of experience, they can help you build a strategy that secures your financial future. Head to goldstonefinancialgroup.com to learn more and get your game plan in place. Welcome back to Penalty Box Radio on 102.5 The Game. Transform your outdoor space with Green Ventures Landscaping, where imagination meets craftsmanship. Their family-owned business brings your vision to life with expert patio design, sturdy retaining walls, stunning pool decks, and efficient irrigation solutions. Their passionate team ensures every project is a masterpiece from inception to completion. Enjoy a seamless blend of beauty and functionality in your landscape. Visit greenventureslandscaping.com today for a free quote and watch your dreams grow into reality. Cultivate your perfect oasis with Green Ventures Landscaping. Beyond the Edge Sports Bar in East Nashville has just been voted best sports bar in the Scene Nashville's Readers Poll. So if you're looking for the best spot to catch every Preds game, head over to Beyond the Edge. With over 30 TVs and 25 beers on tap, you'll never miss a moment. It's the perfect place to relax with friends, grab some great food, and watch your favorite teams. Visit them at 112 South 11th Street in East Nashville, or check them out online at beyondtheedge.net, where every seat is the best seat in the house. We are back. Wow, I'm just going to say,
So fired up.
I'd run through a wall for
Yes.
Coach Dante Abercrombie. There's no doubt in my mind. We've had this conversation, 30
Mhm.
minutes on the radio. I spoke with him on the phone a couple of days ago for the same amount of time. No doubt in my mind that this is the perfect person to start this team. It's going to be incredible. And I'm going to say this, and it's going to sound bad,
Excellent.
but I don't. If you've never been to a Division I hockey game, which again, if you live here,
You
There
probably
hasn't
you
really-
likely have
you
not.
likely have not
Yes.
had that opportunity.
Yes.
If you've never been, I don't think you realize what a big deal this is. And the fact that Boston University is the one that's coming to start things off,
Incredible.
he was not lying.
It is going to be such an incredible environment.
Yeah.
It is. I am so excited. I am so excited for this, and to have it here in Nashville in our backyard, to be able to see this Division I hockey.
It's
It's a big deal. It's
I
a
can't
big
wait.
deal.
I can't wait. I want to be there for every game. I want to be there opening night. I want Penalty Box Radio to cover this team.
Okay.
I think that will be the goal for next season, is to have somebody covering
Absolutely.
that team top to bottom. That's what
Absolutely.
I want. And I think it'll be really good.
Yeah.
I think there'll be a lot of attention. And of course, if you're listening to this and you're like, well, that sounds like something I would like my business to be a part of, get in touch with me. We'll get you set up. We'll let
Absolutely.
you sponsor that whole deal. All right. We're going to be a little bit limited on time this segment because we went over with the last, and I'm fine with that.
Worth it.
Absolutely worth it. We can make the segment as quick as we need to. But we've got to talk about predictions. Last week, Ann and I both made predictions. Ann's prediction was that Fedor Svechkov will have a goal and an assist over the last PBR week.
Mhm.
I predicted, actually, I had my son predict with one word in the words of Mr. T as Clubber Lang in Rocky 3, pain. That was my prediction. Now let's take a look at the results really quick.
Yes.
Okay. The Preds went 1-2,
Mhm.
a 5-1 loss to Dallas, a 2-1 loss to Montreal, and a 7-6 overtime win last night against the New York Islanders. First off, I'll say that's a lot of pain. That's a lot of pain.
There was plenty of
There
pain.
was pain.
Yeah.
However, a finishing move of pure joy and excitement.
Amazing. And that was a contribution from
Fedor Svechkov.
Fedor Svechkov.
And let me just say that Fedor Svechkov did score one goal, no assists.
No,
He waited until the last second.
he's all
to
about
score.
building the drama and anticipation.
I remember-
appreciate that.
I remember watching this game and going like, "That's it, Svechkov, nothing, no." I'm
I
not cheering
knew.
against the guy by
I
any means,
knew.
but
I believe.
I was like, Ann is going to, I'll just point out that producer Brandon did side with me that there would be pain.
yeah, but
But it
that-
wasn't even total pain. So, I mean,
Yeah.
but then again, Svechkov did score a very exciting goal, just no assist, and that's okay. So neither Ann nor I was on the money,
we did not nail it.
but we were close,
So close.
really close.
danced straight around it.
But I will say this, we've got to make predictions.
Mhm.
And again, we are limited in time.
Yes.
So I'm going to make my prediction first.
Okay.
I think I think I've been having Ann make her prediction first, and
Usually.
I will make my prediction so she can respond and mock me if she pleases. And of course, we don't have producer Brandon with us tonight. We have producer Jake, just returning to the boards for us. Really exciting here. Was with us a lot last season, and I'm happy to have him here. But he's going to have to choose between these. I don't know if we went over this with him or not, but now you know. My prediction over the next PBR week, there will be a flurry of scoring from the youth.
Could you be more vague? That is my
could.
response. Flurry. Define a flurry. Define scoring, and what is your age bracket for youth? Like, what's our cutoff on youth?
The young guys.
It's so
well. Let's see.
cheating.
I'm in my mid 40s, so if they're
So
youth, they're
basically,
younger.
everybody on
I'm
the
talking.
team.
I'm talking about the new young fellers that are out there.
Yeah.
Your Svechkovs
Your
and your LaRues and
Matthew
your
Wood.
Woods and,
Yes.
and all
Okay.
of those guys. Yeah, you know what I mean. I'm not talking
Flurry.
about Steven Stamkos and Philip Forsberg and all of their youth compared to mine.
Okay.
But I say a flurry. I'll say 3 goals and 3 assists from the youth.
Okay.
I think that's fair.
I think
I'm gonna type that down.
I feel better that you
150%
put
font.
numbers to it. I appreciate that you went out on that limb.
Okay.
All right. Here's my prediction.
Okay.
4 challenging games, but I think Steven Stamkos currently has 27 goals. He has 51
Okay.
points. He's going to finish this PBR week and this season
Okay. Finishing the season.
with 30 goals, 55 points. So I think he's going to have 3 goals. I think he's going to get 4 points in these games. I am standing on that. Do not let me down, Steven Stamkos.
Okay. I'll just say like that. I feel okay with that. And I do want to point out, just for the sake of pointing out, usually a PBR week is Wednesday to Wednesday from show to show. However, the Preds' last game of the season is next Wednesday, and we will not have a show. We'll have a show after that. It will be podcast only. However, we will be able to update on everybody on what happened with our predictions then. But for now, the tough job comes down to producer Jake, who's got to choose. Will it be a flurry of scoring from the youth, 3 goals and 3 assists, or a very specific Steven Stamkos finishes the season with 30 goals?
There is a real lack of specificity from Sean on this one. A flurry of scoring
from the youth.
I'm gonna go with Ann on this one.
Winner.
I like the way Stammer's been playing lately. I think he finishes the season strong.
So good.
I can't
good.
disagree with you on that.
He's been so good.
You understand we don't make these predictions to get, like, we don't sit down.
Right. Yeah.
This is blind. And so I come with mine. Last week we said Payne. It was fun. Everybody had a good time. It was an easy choice, I think. But this week, I agree. You probably made the right choice. Anyway, look, thanks for listening to Penalty Box Radio live on 102.5 The Game, presented by Goldstone Financial Group. If you want smart investing with a company with a proven track record of fiduciary responsibility, look no further than Goldstone Financial Group. Also, thanks to Stars and Strikes of Smyrna, Beyond the Edge, East Nashville, Green Ventures Landscaping, and Frosthletics. And of course, thank you, Ann, for joining me as always.
Absolutely.
And thank you to head coach Dante Abercrombie for joining us tonight. We will talk to you guys again next week on Podcast Only.